Let's assume Jesus existed and he was a real person about 2,000 years ago. Whether he is or has ever been a divine being is questionable, and it always has been. I'm not understanding how this belief is valid. The idea of Jesus may bring some peace or solace to some people, but the first question that anyone needs to ask is, how can you tell the difference between Jesus being the reason for how you feel versus something else? I'm just trying to get you to consider the possibility that it might be something else. I'm not saying that it is, but as a thought experiment, let's just imagine it might be something else. And if they were due to something else, I just want you to have perspective on it. Take into consideration my perspective for a second. For my whole life, when I was a theist, I thought that Jesus was there to protect me and to hold me and comfort me, and that he was getting me through the hard times. But then, after just a bit of time and exposure to different ideas, I came to the conclusion that it was myself that really got me through the hard times. That's just one possibility. What if that was true? What if it was you that got you through your hard times, and that it was you that was comforting yourself? Let's talk about the movie Dumbo for a minute. In this movie, the mouse gave Dumbo this magic feather, except there was no magic in the feather. It was just there to help Dumbo believe in himself. So how do we tell the difference between whether Jesus is helping you or whether you are helping yourself and just crediting Jesus? What if you say, I don't know? Good, because I don't know either. So isn't that okay to say, I don't know? Instead of just assigning an answer to something we don't know, just to make ourselves feel better, can't we just say, I don't know, and I don't have to believe until such time there is sufficient evidence to believe in it? Why is it so important for theists to assert and be self-convinced that it was Jesus that was helping them in hard times, and that theists or non-believers are just so dense for not recognizing this? There are many theists who claim to know that non-believers hate Jesus or hate God. The answer to that is in the form of a question. How can you hate something you don't believe in? Why listen to what people in your life say about Jesus instead of judging it for yourself based on evidence? That doesn't make any sense. Consider this. I could drive home from work today and get into a car crash. We don't know if God was the one to stop that or if anyone else is there to stop that. In the entire history of the world, no one has ever been able to demonstrate an evidence-based case that there is a God or anything supernatural that intervenes on any event, good or bad. There are plenty of personal anecdotes and supernatural stories tied to everyday common events. I understand that people believe in this sort of thing and why they might believe it. First of all, it's terrifying to admit you don't know something. It is also terrifying to think, what's going to happen to us after we die? I don't know, and neither does anyone else. But religions say I should be this way or that way to protect myself. But if that's the case, how do you pick which religion to follow? Do you seek the best heaven, or do you try to avoid the worst hell? Wouldn't it be better to say I can't pick a religious belief because none of them have met their burden of proof? And if there's a God that's going to punish me or reward me after death, why not begin with the assumption that he's going to punish or reward me based on an honest intellectual pursuit of the truth, rather than believing what somebody else told me because I'm afraid? If he's so loving, why would God want you to be afraid? One last thing, if you bought into the Christian God like many have over thousands of years, the basic belief is that God is the good one and Satan is the evil one, right? How did you decide which one was good and which one was evil? Because if God wrote on your heart, quote unquote, that he's the good one, then you're going to believe he's good, whether he's evil or not. And if you look at the Bible, who kills more people? And who does more ridiculous stuff for completely arbitrary reasons? It's a lot more reasonable, plausible, logical, and feasible to look at the book and say, these are the mistaken thoughts of ancient men. There's nothing behind this. There's not a good God, and there's not an evil God. This is just man's attempt to control human behavior and to fill in the gaps of our knowledge to make it easier to struggle with our own mortality. It should be glaringly obvious now that we need to come to grips with our fear and ignorance. The Bible did a decent job at some stuff at the time it was written. but it was also terrible at other things, such as sanctioning slavery, promoting misogyny, not allowing women to have property, forcing rapists to marry their rape victims, and so many other horrendous things that don't serve any good purpose. If there is a God and the book is immoral, and people got the book wrong, why hasn't God shown up to say, that's not me, that's not what I said, that's not what I believe? And since no God has come forward to correct any of this, isn't it more likely that we are fumbling through a universe that happened to produce us and doesn't care about us? It's up to us to care about us. It's up to us to fix our own problems. This is what secular humanists believe. This is what atheists believe. This is what Feasibilians believe. If there is a God, which we can't demonstrate, nor has anyone ever been able to demonstrate, then there's no good reason to think this God intervenes or cares or does anything on our behalf. If you had a friend who is about to give birth, and if no one else was available, it's not like we can pray and God's going to miracle this person to the hospital. Even if she's a believer, that's not going to happen. But you or I can take her to the hospital. There is no way to provide any evidence that God is willing to take her to the hospital. It's just us deciding that it's the best thing to do. The best I can do is live my life based on the notion that people are valuable because we share our lives together. What I do impacts you, and what you do impacts me. All people should be engaging in rational decisions and working alongside each other to make the world better. I don't know how that can happen when religious people believe that prayer to an almighty being, divine intervention, and miracles are actually real. Until there is sufficient evidence for any of that, it just makes more sense to me to base my decisions on what I can demonstrate in the real world. Isn't that what we should all do? Take care of yourself and take care of each other.